So, thank you, friends, for giving me this opportunity. I passed out from REC Calicut in 1972. So probably most of you were not born at the time, by the time, right? So let me try to collect and reconnect with the younger community of entrepreneurs and innovations with this brief presentation. Okay. Now we look at the opportunities for entrepreneurs. Uh, the first option one is a model, what we say the popular mortal model. I suppose most of the people that are present are from Gujarat, so they are very familiar. Second is a clone factory. Again, most of you are aspiring to be unicorns. The third is Gazelle is not very comfortable common word in India, but I'll explain more about that. And then the fourth one, our chief guest referred to the Chinese, and now the last one, sorry, I think it's a fifth one, is patented innovations, global innovations. That's what I'll be talking about. I'll try to briefly touch about all these aspects in my presentation. The first one is the story of Patels, which many of you are familiar, but some of you may not be very familiar. But I'm very fond of this particular thing because when I go to USA and I run around the country, I see everywhere there's a motel. And when I enter the motel, generally I'll be seeing a Gujarati bhai or behan only inside the particular thing. So how come these people change the name? Motel is also called Patels, I understand. Some hybrid name they invented. So this is a Indian immigrant success story in a hospitality industry, and the motel started during the transformation of America with the rail roads. So once you got a lot of roads, people started traveling on the roads, and once they're traveling on the roads, there is a gas station, and near the gas station they had to take a rest. And at the gas station, taking a rest in the initial days was like this one. So they were camping in their own car. That is how they were doing it. They calling it auto camps near the gas stations. And then there is a restroom, running water picking. This is the beginning of a American way of traveling. The motels came around the same time. They were a residential pakka buildings near the gas stations. And this was not invented by our Gujarati boys, not Patels. It was there in USA for very many years before it was taken by our community. So one of the pioneer is a Maganbhai Patel. He came to USA in 60 for doing a MS. And then he visited a motel in San Francisco. He liked the idea, saying that this seems to be a good way of doing business. That was the hotel or a motel. He was working, his brother was working, his wife, she could speak only Gujarati, no English, and he wanted to productively engage his wife and do business. And a white man, Bradley, he was running a motel for 25 years. Is close to the freeway, the American way of saying a highway, whatever the different thing. And all these motors were originally owned by the white people. And as they're aging, the children are not interested in running a motel, which is a bit far away from the cities. So they were looking for a way out. So then our friends, he said, let me take this bite. Sale price $150,000, down payment 50,000, all this particular thing. So he had got 35,000 savings, and with 35,000 saving, he went and had a deal with the white people and purchased the motel. The logic was very simple. The motel, the least was providing a free accommodation. So you get a free accommodation for both wife and husband, and also probably some other people. So they found a way of maintaining it very low cost by having summer students and Indian students on summer vacation. Maintenance was done only by Patel brothers on weekends, and they engaged only one person. His housewife Neta was also there as a in the front desk. They were sleeping in the same place, like what they say, front end office. The costs were kept low. The motels were not like hotels. You give them a room, which is a clean room, give the key, they walk into the room, sleep there, take a bath, and go away. And these rooms are cleaned for the subsequent traveler, mostly on the weekends. So this is a big opportunity, and our Patel grabbed it. You do not have to speak English. As his wife was not speaking English, all you have to say, room available, yes or no. What is the tariff? Again, 10, 20, whatever the thing. Other than that, nothing else to be communicated. And there is a breakfast, again, with a very standard breakfast. And now, this is the figure in 2010. They were owning 20,000 motors. Now we do not know. Maybe either way, hospitality business is all dominated by our hotels in USA. It's a window of opportunity. The banks were not happy with the white people because the economy was booming, but there were no people to manage it. So our Indian entrepreneur Patel, they found a way of taking a fixed asset, because there's a very tangible asset. Motel were physical assets. They were located near the gas stations. They were located on the freeways, and they found the opportunity. They expected the opportunity, and they did magic. And everyone knows they were having extended families back in Gujarat. So the extended families slowly migrated one after one to USA as a owners, as a workers or a helpers or as a owners. Ultimately, everyone became a owner. So you had a thousands of motors run by, I do not know the numbers, maybe thousands and thousands of entrepreneurs from Gujarat. This is one of the typical example of a Gujarati family running a motel, wife and husband. It is the same almost everywhere in USA, wife and husband. So this is my first option. A standard running store, we say corner store in UK or motel in USA, a brick and mortar business anywhere in the country. Has it come to the end? Are there any entrepreneur opportunities? There are entrepreneur opportunities. Roti, kapda, makan was needed 100 years back, 50 years back. It is needed now. It will be needed again and again. I think this business has not come to the end. Hospitals is a big business. Hospitality is a big business. Educational institutions are a big business. Brick and mortar industries are a big business. I think this entrepreneur opportunities, there is no saturation in India, maybe in other countries. But in India, we have not reached a saturation point. The market is very open, and there are any number of entrepreneur opportunities in this type of a environment where you do not talk about something extraordinary or something very new, something very technology. There's no technology, it's all known business, but how to cut cost, how to manage finances, how to manage finances in such a way that you still make a profit when people who have got a different way of lifestyle cannot make a profit. This is what we say entrepreneurship, family entrepreneurship, self-help group, whatever you call it. There is still room, in my opinion. This is still the biggest opportunity for the entrepreneurs in India. Do something already known, but in a different place. Look at your own advantage and do cost management, and you'll be definitely growing. Next, we'll come to the clone factory. All e-commerce companies which are very familiar, they are called clones because Amazon was a original company. The clones of Amazon in India are fairly known to all of us. We are using them. It is the same thing with each and every successful model outside India, and we just clone it. And this is not, again, we are not the first to do this particular thing. Right? Cloning means there no technology risk, utilize generic technology. The business model is proven business model, fast mover strategy, raise capital with your family money, and then you go to the venture capitalist. And you don't want to stay there like a mortals. You want to look for a successful exit. Right? And this is a model, clone model, developed by an organization called Rocket Internet in Germany. They said, let me do the same thing. Look at Americans, they create new market, and I repeat the same thing in Germany and other countries. Then I do a better success story because the learning is captured, and the mistakes which those companies did, I'll not be repeating the mistakes. So based on that, he created his own clone model called a Rocket Internet, and he created any number of clones, Amazon clones, PayPal, Bill Pay, Uber clones, Facebook clones, Air and Pay clones in Germany and in Southeast Asia. They were all centrally managed from Germany with a larger number of people. Finance is provided by the parent company. Strangely, this model failed in India. He initially started with a big bank because he's got a lot of money and he knows how to run this type of a clone. But somehow it didn't work out in India. Some of his big failures, I remember, is Food Panda, a big startup started by him. It failed. And then there is analysis saying that why this particular clone theory failed in India. They said there is a business model. He was employing promoters as a co-directors, as a company directors, but paying them salary and a small amount of equity. And our entrepreneurs did not like it. They say, if I am the promoter, then obviously I'll have a significant stake in the business, right? So this paid consultant type of a configuration, which he practiced everywhere, did not work out in India. Our entrepreneurs, in my opinion, are smarter. So I say Indian clones better than German clones, I suppose so. And it is now, many articles have come about this particular thing, saying that Indian Institute of Management, especially IIM Calcutta, has specialized in developing a appropriate Indian clone. And wherever they put their finger, they're successful. Maybe someone has to dig into that thing. India's unicorns. So the clones, some of the clones would become unicorns, and India has got 21 unicorns. I think there are 586 unicorns all across the world. USA has got 233, very closely followed by China, UK, and India. So we have many clones, and we have many more clones in pipeline. These are the Indian clones and unicorns. Unicorn because they reached a particular milestone, and we say clones because none of them are original. None of them are invented a business model of their own. None of them are employing a proprietary technology to start with, right? So they were clones in the classical term of a Rocket International, but very successful in India, and they are the Indian unicorns. And these 10 are examples for hundreds and thousands of Indian startups. Every startup in India, or most of the startup in India, would like to become a unicorn. And if you go to any mentor or angel investor, they'll tell you the same thing. Ignore patents, ignore technology, focus on a proven business model and proven capacity to execute. So since the technology is known, business model is known, they say, let us bet on the team capacity to execute. So that's why they say, where is this team coming from? Is it a combination of IIT, IEM? The chances of execution are better, so let me bet on them. So if it's a small place like any other small Batinda or some other town with unknown people, then the venture capitalist will be thinking 10 times in that, is it a team? Can this team pull through, right? So this is how the unicorns are evolving in India, and it's a good success story. And these are the people who created buzz in the entire college atmosphere. In all colleges, there is the entrepreneurship clubs, and all entrepreneurship clubs who talk about the Indian unicorns because they are the one which create excitement to the young minds. What is not very common is something like a Gazelis. These are the companies also successful like unicorn, but not that same way. They have a growth rate of 20%, consistent growth rate, 4 years, something like that. And they are all technology-based companies. It's a very popular concept in Europe. And as you see the picture, Microsoft, Google, Apple, Yahoo, Twitter, Facebook, they all started as a gazelle companies, technology companies, respectable growth rate, sustainable business, and they all flourish without closing the shop. This was a concept used by the researcher David in 1980s. So he said, if you have got a revenue growth of 20% or higher annually, and then you are a gazelle company, and nations, European nations are fond of these companies because they create jobs. So Apple, Dell, Yahoo, they were all gazelle companies in their initial years. In India, we don't have a system of recognizing them. In Sweden, especially, there is a system of naming some of the better companies as the gazelle nations, like IKEA. IKEA is a famous company. So they have an annual recognition scheme for the companies that are doing well. So they're equivalent to our Indian companies doing well in the MSME with a turnover of 100 to 500 crores. They're not unicorns. They grow well, they grow slowly, they grow steadily, and they have a sustainable business, mostly because there is certain technology also with them, apart from a business methods. Academic Times has started recognizing some of the MSMEs in the last maybe 2 to 3 years, and they have started saying that these are the top innovative MSMEs. These MSMEs have taken a hit during the liberalization and zero tariff, but things are now better. The companies that survived are doing very well. Let me look at some of the particular MSMEs, which I would like to think are the potential gazelle firms from India. This is a company that is treating the problem of a hard water. Hard water is a problem. So how to really treat hard water? And there are chemical companies for industrial applications, but how do I do it for a household application? This is what this company is doing, and he's got a technology. Space has been open, and many companies are doing something remarkably disruptive in space technology. And there is someone who says, let me work on the propulsion system. And then sometime back, it was never thought of a private company can work on a propulsion system. But then they got what they say, microwave plasma thruster, a patented one. And ISRO is working with them. Wheelchairs, powered wheelchairs are not new, but Indian roads are very different. You have to move on the Indian wheelchairs. See, when you go to a country like USA, I see very elderly people getting from out of the car and using their electric wheelchairs, traveling all the way in the parking distance. Their parking distance will be in kilometers, and go to the mall and come back and go to the movie house. They move in and around in the personal electric wheelchairs. Now, can you do it in India? Obviously, because our roads, whether public roads or the roads inside a mall or in the parking lot, they're not very friendly. So these companies said, let me have something called a different technology, different suspension system, so that people can move on the electric wheelchairs on Indian roads. Again, he has got a problem, he has got a solution. This company is working on enzymes for pharma and other companies. So it's a green biocatalyst for manufacturing of antibiotics. Again, this is a field that is reserved for large uh, laboratories like NCL. And these are the small companies. They started doing it in Tamil Nadu and doing good job. People in Delhi and other places, they're familiar with the pollution, especially the diesel generators. So everyone talks about the car. Car is a moving polluter. What are the stationary diesel generators? Everywhere you got those things because you require a power backup. In many places, may not be in Gujarat. And then many people ignore them because they're at the back end of a building. So he said, let me have something which is talking about this particular particle emission on a diesel generator. Again, a problem is solving. We are seeing that there's not sufficient water for the army people in Ladakh that we are seeing in the movies, right? So they cannot take a bath with a shower. Same thing is there with our patients and other elderly people, right? So they said, can I have a waterless body bath? Again, this company had found a solution for this problem working on this. None of them are really startups or unicorns. They are small companies on the way to become a medium scale companies. I expect them they'll be having a respectable turnover of 100 to 500 crores in the coming few years. Poultry farming, robotics, mosquito traps, medical instrumentation. Okay, now that part is over. As I said, the third option is to continue to be a small scale industry and become a medium scale industry. I hear some children's voice. Okay, good. Right. So now we'll come to the fourth option. Take back the market from China. Right. Before the globalization, it was not a very good thing happening in the country. We had a reservation system, what we say license Raj. There is a reservation for small scale industries. So we were manufacturing many products, but manufacturing them of a bad quality. So competition with China opened up, and then there is a zero tariff structure, and many industries closed down. In my place, Hyderabad, when I was a young student, it was a place of cluster of fan manufacturers. There used to be a very large number of fan manufacturers. No one manufactures fan in India. We don't manufacture tube lights in India. We don't manufacture anything in India. Everything is imported from China. Not only in India, everywhere, everything is imported from China. But some good things are happening. Two good things. First is that Corona has led to global supply chain breakdown. And because global supply chain breakdown has come, we had an emergency requirement of manufacturing equipment like a face mask, temperature monitors, PPE, ventilators, virus cleaners, testing systems, drugs. So there is certain apprehension. Can we develop all this? Because you cannot import them from China or any other country because of the global supply chain bottlenecks, because there is a general shortage. But then all these were developed and manufactured in India very quickly, very fast. I think from being an importer of PPE, today we are expecting maybe 1 million PPEs all across the world. So this has given a lot of confidence to Indian entrepreneurs, saying that those things that were once a monopoly of China can be manufactured by Indians. Of course, it's not that we pray for coronavirus to continue. Even with normal time, I'm sure once it tastes success, you'll be able to continue. There is a confidence in India now, saying that we can manufacture. We can manufacture any particular thing without any problem. The second big opportunity has come with a helping hand from Government of India. Oh, it is not there? Okay. Government of India banned the mobile applications from about, they started with the 50 plus mobile applications were banned. Ultimately, the numbers were about 200 plus. They became a low hanging fruit for mobile application developers in India. Earlier, I was using a scanner, mobiles on my mobile phone for scanning a document. Never looked at Indian alternatives. Then once the Chinese one is banned, then I looked at Indian alternatives. There are very many. Then someone said there is something developed by IIT boys, Kagas. I applied it. It's a very good quality. Same thing is the experience of almost all the substitutes mobile applications are developed by Indians very quickly. So again, the lesson. China developed the mobile applications, internet applications by banning the Americans. If there is no Google there, there is no Amazon, there is no Facebook, there is no YouTube. They banned all those particular things and they created their own applications. We do not advise banning those big guys, but still banning the Chinese applications is they no harm, in my opinion. And we are given a breathing opportunity, a fresh opportunity to mobile application developers in India. I'm sure this is going to continue to the next phase of IoT and other applications. So this option of snatching from China is now possible because the breakdown of a global value chain or a supply chain and Indian government giving a helping hand by banning the Chinese applications, and maybe they will ban 5G also, and they have put a lot of anti-dumping duties. They want to go slow on everything that is imported from China. You cannot wish away China because they are the biggest supplier for Indian entrepreneur also. It's not wishing away China, but saying that how do I live with China without being totally dependent on them? Dependence in such a way, when I travel to China, I find the flight is full of traders, Indian traders. All these people come with a package, travel package. They come to a particular place, which is again, the vendor is doing everything, air ticket management and hotel management and a translator, everything like that. They come in a plane load, go there, place orders and come back and the shipment will come. So all the flats are full of Indian traders buying from China of different quality depending on the strategy of the trader. Right? So this probably will be a slightly different. I suppose we'll have a mix of imported products from China and imported services from China, and also Indian products, Indian applications, and Indian services competing effectively with China. That I think is again a big opportunity. I'm very confident about it. The last one is a international innovation fairs. These are the opportunity to meet the innovators, the people who want to license something. They want to sell a technology. They want to license a patent. And they are everywhere in the world. And they're looking for Indian entrepreneurs, Indian businessmen. And IFIA is one of the organizations which is having a worldwide present. We are a member of IFIA, Indian Innovators Association is a member of IFIA. We bring Indian global innovations to India by organizing international innovation fairs. We organize a fair in Bangalore, Visakhapatnam, Hyderabad. Now it's because of Corona this year, we are not doing it. Maybe next year we'll do some other place. And we take them to other countries. There are innovation fairs in Germany, in Switzerland, in Japan, Canada, Portugal, UK, USA, and we take entrepreneurs there. Go and see the people who are looking to meet you. They want to give you a technology. You can discuss with them, and maybe you like to buy something from them and start your own business based on a patented innovations. Patented innovations are very different. So I say, write down the patented innovations. Patents create barriers for copying. There is more value when it is patented. And outside India, you cannot enter a market unless it is a patented product because the market is saturated. Same is going to come to India in the coming years. You have to have a patented innovations, otherwise you cannot enter a market. Look at this. Some of you are familiar. This is a roti making robot called Rotimatic. Wife and husband team developed in Singapore. It is sold in USA, Singapore, UAE, other countries. I don't think it's sold in India. This price of this particular roti maker, which is making rotis, is about $800. And for making rotis in India, we buy a press which is costing 500 rupees, something like that. If it's electrically heated, maybe it will cost 1,000. And there's no value addition because there are 20, 30 manufacturers who can manufacture the same thing. But you cannot manufacture this product because this is patented. It's a patented innovation. And the margins, you can understand, selling it $800, you can understand the margins. Like Apple, iPhone is a luxury, but it's a very high value added product. So same thing, anything that is patented will be having a higher value. There are more copycats, and then it's a sustainable. This one has got 35 patents, patented in 2009. So probably it has got some more life. This is the ideal for entrepreneur to take a patented innovation and enter the market. The only hitch is that we do not have enough patents in India. I think the total population of patents in India is something like less than 10,000. Whereas globally there are a million patents. And all the people that have got patents and innovations outside India, if he is not a multinational, if he is a multinational, he'll start his own business. If he's not a multinational, he is looking for an Indian entrepreneur or a businessman to take it in a license, pay the money, and make money. Let us look at it. Tourist tracking technology is available from Australia. Australia has got a larger number of education institutions, research institutions, and almost everyone is trying to sell a technology to India. And there are many patents online sites. This particular thing has got a patent online, has got 729 patents, 51 designs registered for sale. Just go there and look at this particular thing. You like it, start dialogue. Idea Connection is another place where they post patents, innovations for sale every day. Recently, I seen one example of a patent for sale. It's a pipeline inspection alert system. It's a patented innovation and it's for sale. Indian entrepreneurs can buy it. Laboratories outside India also sell the technologies to Indian entrepreneurs. This laboratory in UAE, USA has got a self-healing cement. And we all know the problem about cement developing cracks everywhere. Right? So this self-healing cement is a big technology and it's available for license. And there are many people who are not research institutions. They are independent innovators, very creative community. There are a million people, million community innovators are there. They all have got innovations which are mostly exhibited in our innovation fairs, and they want to sell the technology to Indian entrepreneurs. This guy has got a earthquake intelligent early warning solution. You cannot predict earthquake, but earthquake comes in a cycle. There is one earthquake followed by the second earthquake. So if you protect your property for the second earthquake, you save a life. So this is got a technology. This is something available for transfer. Wave generators are known to everyone, but they're very complex machinery. So this innovator said, let me give a wave generator customized for a restaurant and a beach end. So if you got a restaurant or hotel on the beach and this wave generator is very nearby. You connect the cable, draw the power, and you have something running free of electricity, and it doesn't cost much. The payback period is something like 1 year. So the technology is available, everything is available for license. Solar roads are a bit futuristic in India, but then they are very popular outside India. Right? This patent holder exhibited this patent in China, and they liked it very much. They're very fast in grabbing the opportunity, and then their president opened a 1 kilometer solar park based on the induction field principle of the patent. Right? So Chinese are very fast in grabbing the opportunities. They may not be the first to invent, but they are fast second, what we call. So all this comes very easily for you from a network called IFIA. It's the International Federation of Innovators Association. It's based in Geneva, and it has got members in 80 countries. And most common activity is organizing innovation fairs, connecting innovators who want to license a technology to entrepreneurs, and connecting entrepreneurs who want to buy something from the innovators. So this is a something like a marriage or matchmaking activity. So we bring the business people and innovators together on a platform, on a physical platform. There is always online available, but a physical platform is where you can negotiate. So after discussion, after having some idea about you want to go ahead, then you probably would like to have a personal discussion. So this type of platforms help you to have a personal discussion with the technology buyers. And this is our association. We are a part of IFIA. We do the same activity in India, but then of course, very small scale, because India is still catching up. The people in Germany have been doing it for the past 70 years. They're doing a very big, China is doing it a very, very big way. India, we are still a new organization. Buying a technology, buying a patent is not a very common thing in India, right? We are also not good in creative imitation. We still need a rough support from the others, right? But I think the things are changing. As I said, we have created a lot of imitations in Corona time period, because there are imitations, because the face mask or ventilator, they're not invented by us. But there are good imitations, nothing wrong. I think that is the first stage. If you know how to imitate, then naturally you'll be able to bring an innovative product based on the patented technology. I think we are on the road. We are on the road to bring in new technologies, create new business opportunities, and in a very sustainable manner. Because once you have a patented innovation driving a business market, others cannot copy. You'll have our value, and you can do it for 20, 30 years very comfortably. You will not be replaced so easily. When you take a breakfast, you take a Kellogg cereal breakfast, and Kellogg was introduced maybe some 100 years back, right? Nothing replaces a patented product that easily. A blade, Gillette blade, was introduced maybe some 50 years back, right? Everything was invented by someone, and they're all there. Coffee, when I go into the morning, I take a filtered coffee. It was invented a long time back. I still take filtered coffee, right? So every product that we are using in home, in the office, for going to the office or for a recreation, is invented somewhere in the world. Our entrepreneurs are not the first to adapt it, because that was history. 50 years we moved far ahead. I think today we are in a position to take advantage of the global offerings and create enterprises in a very sustainable manner. So let me summarize. India is on the move. Now we all say we want to make it India for the world. That is the slogan today, right? So to make it India for the world, you need smart entrepreneurs. There's no shortage. We are smart. After all, as I said, we are taking the hospitality industry in USA, and we are proved to be better than the German clones. And we are smart generally. I think we are doing a good business anywhere, whether you are calling it a Hong Kong or a UAE or anywhere. Our entrepreneurs are smart. They're not denying on this particular thing. access to hard technology is something which we are not experimented before. It's not that we cannot do it, we have not done it before. Since we have not done it before, it is an unknown area, but it can be done. Creative thinking we exhibited recently. During the Corona period, we exhibit this creative thinking. So we said no Chinese applications, we came with our own applications. So I think it's all possible. Entrepreneurs who I got here and creative thinking we are tried and successful. Access to hot technology on a large scale is not something not tried, but it's feasible, desirable, and attractive. China has done it million times. They're not entrepreneurs. They're not the smart entrepreneurs. Huh? There is a Chinese bazaar everywhere in the world. Right? So China has done it million times. We too can do it. So with this, I close my presentation. I am open for all the any additional information, clarification. Once again, I thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity. Uh, I did my stint in engineering in manufacturing companies. I worked at the government of India. I worked with incubators. I worked with the education institutions. So I have seen engineering from all sides of the world. So with all the broad understanding, I feel this is the pathways for the entrepreneurs. And thank you.